I think everybody can talk now. I can't tell. Let me look at the signs here. But anyway, welcome to the podcast, folks. This is going to be a great one tonight. We have Kyle from Forever Rad here. Great guests. It's going to be a long one, folks. Put your seatbelt on. We've got lots to talk about. All right, here's our members here, if you guys understand. Now, there was some controversy on our forums, or not forums, but Facebook. If you are a YouTube member, your membership will transfer to the website. We just got to do it manually, and we are working on that. So look forward to that and some information here shortly. But anyway, Connie, do you want to go through their names, or we can just move on, whatever you want to do? He's great. These guys are great people. They're in the chat most of the time, 100%.
Brian Armstrong, Tony G, Bagger Legion, 2 Rolling Stones, Poppy's Adventures, Kevin Tatum, Tony Peoria, William Blaze, Riding Fish, Gator Mike, Tom Arnold, Our Indian Adventures, Scott Spurlock, Terry Cannett, Rumble and Growl, Doug Hampton, HD Ronnie G, Mayik Sampaio, Joshua Piofer, AZ Pilot, IOWA, otherwise known as Donna, Bob Cole, Wheels Divided, Mixed Boy 420, Wind Therapy Addict, and we have quite a few IMRGs in the chat too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So Connie, Josh Pfeiffer and I were making fun of you about the way that you pronounce his last name, just so you know.
It's Pfeiffer? I'm sorry, Josh.
All right.
We were conversing back and forth on Facebook, and we were making fun of you. Just
Piofer?
So you know. Yeah, just so you know.
Pfeiffer. Okay.
Maybe
right,
maybe he likes Piofer. Who knows?
All right, you guys are both fired. All right, we got to move on. Hey, so the calendar, guys, March 24th, we're going to have Roger Sparks here, and that's a video we released a couple days ago from a 108 to 116. That wasn't a typo. That wasn't, we wasn't saying it wrong. He's going to be doing a lot of filming of that, and we'll have an update on next Tuesday. And then we're going to interview the owner. All right, so here's our friends, and we got a new one in there, Forever Rad. Congratulations.
Yay.
Nice. Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
And
we're honored to have you, sir.
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
that.
And we can go through the whole list here, but you guys can see right there, these guys have helped us out as being guests. They don't pay us any money to be on this thing. This is our friends. They're the ones that kind of supported us along the way last year, and that's the reason why we're getting bigger every day. So here we go. All right. So welcome to the podcast, Kyle. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic.
Excellent. I appreciate you guys.
Even better now that I have a drink.
Oh, Lord.
Tell me what you're drinking, Max.
So I changed up here, gentlemen. Chris, let me do the disclaimer before I go into this.
Oh, my gosh.
Here in Throttle Iron, we believe that throttles and bottles don't mix. We promote responsible drinking of spirits and do not condone drinking and riding, except when you're doing a podcast. While we may enjoy a drink or two during the podcast, we do so safely at home with no riding taking place afterwards. Please enjoy responsibly, follow your local laws, and never drink and ride. Ride safe and live free. Tonight, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, my friends, we are two-fisting tonight. Number one is a little bit of what's known as Irish mother's milk. This is Guinness from the land of Ireland, and this is the foreign extra stout, which is a whole lot different from your normal extra stout that you can buy in a store. This you really have to look for, and it's a lot better than your normal extra stout. If you can find it, buy it. You won't be disappointed. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Second, we went up in the top shelf this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and brought out some great Irish whiskey, Redbreast 12. This stuff is a great starting point. It's made by the same people who make a number of different Irish whiskeys, but this one is really, really good. If you can pick this up, please do so. Kyle, what are you drinking tonight?
Keeping it classy with some Buffalo Trace. So,
well, here's to you, sir. Let's toast one up in the Gaelic. Salancha Va. Here you go, sir.
I don't know what Max just said, but I got like Diet Coke bottled in like Atlanta, Georgia or something. I don't know.
I got Freddie's root beer. Good stuff.
I heard
Not
that Frank
alcoholic.
had good stuff.
You got that
Did I hear on the
Buffalo
intro
Trace,
though?
right?
Yeah.
You guys, did I hear on the intro? You guys have your own theme song now.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving up in the world, I like that.
trying to. All right, so I do have to go to this. Okay, so we have a lot of confusion, and Kyle brought this up last night about the screens. If you go to YouTube, there's 2 screens. If you are watching and you only got like a little screen in the middle of your TV or in your on your phone, switch over to the widescreen, and that will make it a lot easier for you guys. I'll see if I got a link and I can put it in the chat right here. Next week, I think I'm going to we'll do a test and we'll try to make one hidden. We use the short screen to make short edits, and it's really quick. I made one. We did a little guess, pre show last night, and I can make shorts just like that. I made one in like 15 minutes and posted it. So that's the reason why there's 2 of them. So we'll try to keep that from being confusing in the future, and we'll just have one on YouTube. One will be, I guess you can say, hidden, but you can still, if you really prefer that one, you can still go there and watch it. You just got to have the link. All right, folks. Kyle, let's get on with this show, man. This is about you and your business. You're probably you are the premier of aftermarket parts, I believe. I mean, I started watching you when I first bought my first Challenger, or actually my Indian, and I've always followed you. I mean, you do some good work. And I guess we can just start how it all began. How'd this all start?
All right. Well, thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. Basically, I was just a young kid that grew up on a skateboard, but I grew up in North Dakota. And so up there, there's just a lot of snow and a lot of cold. And I wasn't really into any of the outdoor stuff. I don't like cold weather. So I was fortunate at a young age. You can start driving when you're 14, full-blown driver's license. So
Oh, wow.
got my first car, and I was amped up on that because now I could go drive around to go skateboard all over the town where I lived. But that led to cruising Main Street and chasing girls on the weekends. And, you kind of start seeing other things in the world in a different way. And at that time, like import tuner cars and mini trucks were super popular for like custom cars. So all the teenagers had Honda Civics with body kits. And this was actually like pre-Fast and Furious, before it was in the movie theaters. So started taking note of that stuff. And I was like, oh, those cars look different. They look cool. And that led me to looking at car magazines. And then I decided I wanted to get into custom cars. Well, why not, but in order to do that, you got to have money, and I didn't have any. So I had to get a job right away, start saving, and basically just got hooked on cars, and it just consumed me. And I mean, it's as simple as that. It was just kind of a thing that was a hobby turned into a passion, and then just wanted to excel and keep doing more and have more fun and travel more places, doing that kind of stuff, living that lifestyle. But of course, you have to know how to work on stuff, and I didn't know how to do any of that. So basically, me and some buddies rented a shop when we were teenagers, and we had this little 20 by 30 shop, and we were just barely able to pay the rent, and we would tear our stuff apart, cut it in half, try to weld it back together, and just basically trial and error, just learn how to use your hands and how to use tools. And the rest is really history from there. I've just been doing that my whole life now. It's just winging it and trying to, produce cool things and make anything custom. Everything has to be custom in my world. So, I mean, I can go on and go into detail, but that led to, having a stronger desire to have cooler things, nicer things. And then it was working just as many hours as I could at a full-time job after I graduated. I was in a body shop. I took auto body in high school, so I learned real quick how how to maybe be able to pursue something that I enjoy and actually make a living doing it. And the body shop is what taught me that, and of course I had to start by sweeping floors and just kind of being the shop bitch, of course, but you learn your way through the ranks. And eventually I got pretty good at a young age, and I basically just decided I don't want to do this in North Dakota anymore because there's not as much opportunity up there. You can never start a custom shop and survive. I mean, it's very difficult to do that. Very few people have done that. The lifestyle is not as big up there as it is around the rest of the country. So I met this chick, and we had a good thing going, and we decided to call it quits. And I finally said, screw it, I'm leaving. And the first place I decided to go was to the St. Louis area. And my little sister actually moved to St. Louis. And so it was kind of my safe place. Like, hey, I'm going to go live with my sister, and maybe we can figure it out, and I'll get a job at a hot rod shop or something. And I moved down, I packed everything in a trailer, and everything started going well. And within 3 weeks, that chick showed up at my door, and she said, let's make this work. And
Cool.
We're still together. We're going on 17 years now. So it's like,
Oh, nice.
the craziest story ever. But yeah, I mean, everything about how I get to where I'm at is just pure passion for anything custom and working with your hands and trying to just constantly push yourself and develop the skills. And eventually that led to helping consumers and customers, which were a part of the plan. But it's really cool because now I find a lot of fulfillment in making other people happy and, helping them with what they think is cool or what they think they need for their bike and et cetera. Sure. It's a very fulfilling thing. So.
Well, I want to know about all those skateboards I see behind you. What's the story behind all those, man? I mean, good Lord, you can only ride one at a time, right?
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, skateboarding was my first true love. I've been skating for 25 years now, and my kids grew up on skateboards, and I'm not skating as much as I once was because it hurts a lot more these days. But it really helps with, how do I put it? I was never really into sports like football, soccer, basketball, anything like that. I did try. But when I found skateboarding, I learned real quick that it's all about yourself and it's a mental game. And if you want to do better and you want to excel, it's only up to you. It's not up to anybody else. You don't have to wait for someone to pass the ball or, from a team aspect. And I really think that contributes a lot to kind of my mentality as an adult too. It's just like setting high goals and then learning how to never give up until you smash those goals. And then you continue to just keep raising the bar higher and higher. And here we are. But it's all about passion. It's all about heart and commitment and just never giving up, and that's
sure.
I really do think skateboarding is the only reason that I am the way that I am today. It really taught me that. So it's kind of a weird thing, but that's the truth, or at least that's what I believe. So
very cool.
Absolutely. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah. You don't really find people that, skateboarding is a lifestyle. Actually, it's more about like yesterday I was telling Chris, like, when you're a skateboarder, you don't really care what people think about you. You don't really care about the rest of the world going on. It's just you and your small group of people that will support each other no matter what, no matter how good you are, how bad you are. And it's a very tribalistic thing. Mm-hmm. And motorcycles are very similar to that. Like we can be all different shapes and sizes and colors and live all across the world and be totally different from each other. But we have the one bond that connects us, and that's two wheels and the freedom behind it. Mm-hmm. And like you can instantly get along with anybody because of motorcycles. It doesn't matter about the politics and the beliefs and the religions and all the craziness in the world. Like I'm just a simple dude. Like I love skateboarding. I love riding motorcycles. I love my family. And what more do you need in life? That's about all it takes for me. So.
Well, I'm staying away from skateboards. The last time I tried one was not a good experience. I broke my cell phone. I broke my cell phone holder. The skateboard went one direction. I went another direction, and that was that. So that and unicycle, I swore off of skateboards and unicycles. So I'm good.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
it's
Kyle-
for everybody,
Kyle?
definitely. Yeah.
Hey, I'm 68 years old. I ain't got no interest in a skateboard, dude. None. I barely can ride a motorcycle, as they'll attest. I've busted myself with that up a little bit. So, one of our people out here, I don't know if you can see the comments, wanted to know what's the worst mod you can put on a motorcycle. I didn't know there was a worst mod. If you bought it,
holder.
That's Moto
A drink
Pal.
holder.
That's a good one.
yeah.
I would say probably a get back whip, most likely, would be the first thing I would say. It's not a mod. It's like a fashion statement, that doesn't make any sense. But other than that, we really don't like neon lights in our shop, like underglow.
No underglow, huh?
Well, the main reason for it is it makes it really difficult to work on bikes if you need to pull off a fender or a tank. And like, some people think it's a huge deal to pull a gas tank off, but we pull gas tanks off 5 to 10 times a day, and it takes 5 minutes. So it's like you throw a bunch of silicone and double-sided tape into some neon lights, and now all of a sudden you can't remove anything, and it's like annoying from a tech standpoint. So
I bet.
Yeah,
I don't like them anyway.
I could keep going down the list, but I don't want to make anybody too upset. I'm very specific what I'm into, but I will say that as long as you love your motorcycle, that's what I care. If you love it, I love it. So,
Well,
And there you go.
Well, I
ahead,
only
Les.
said I only said drink holder max because we just put one on your bike. Just that was the
Yeah.
reason. I said.
That's all right. I had one on my old bike too, so it was fine. I hardly ever used the damn thing. Hey, Kyle, I understand. How many kids do you have?
So we have 2 boys. One is 19 and one just turned 15 on Friday.
So one's motorcycle age, and I remember seeing a video somewhere where you were building him a bike somewhere. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. They both grew up on skateboards with me, and then we moved to our property where our shop is now, almost 5 years ago. And we're fortunate to be out in the woods. We have 7 acres, and it's real quiet. And so the first thing I wanted to do was get dirt bikes. We grew up in the city, and you can't ride dirt bikes in the city. So we got a bunch of dirt bikes, and the boys were hooked instantly. And by the time my oldest kid started driving, he was 15 or 16. He got his permit, and he was so good on his dirt bike, he was ready for a Grom, basically. So we found him a good deal on a little bike like that, and I taught him the rules of the road and how to ride safe and the way that I like to ride, so that I figured if he could learn the way that I ride, then I would feel less stressed out about him riding. Hoping he would make the same type of quick decisions that I have to make when I ride. And he did so good with it. So it wasn't a year later, he went out and got his motorcycle license on his own, didn't ask anybody, just went and did it. And I was stoked about that. So we had a cool opportunity in the shop where a wrecked Sportster landed in my lap for cheap. And he was working at a fast food place. Actually, no, I think he was working at Home Depot. And we said, hey, man, if you want to get into bikes, bigger motorcycles, you got to know how to work on them. And so he knew a couple things, but if he doesn't have to be in the shop with Dad, he's not going to be in the shop. So I gave him an opportunity. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pay you to work on this Sportster with me. And we're going to give you a timesheet, and you're going to clock in and you're going to clock out. And I shouldn't have to pay you. You should be thanking me for teaching you, because nobody ever did that for me. However, I'm going to give this opportunity to you. And I said, here's the catch. You have to commit, and you will not get a single penny in your pocket until the bike is on the road, right? I want you to see and feel the satisfaction of something that's beat up and you put all the work and time into it and you see it finished. It's a very rewarding thing, right? Well, little did he know, the whole time he was working on that bike, we not only repaired it, but we modified the whole bike, customized the whole thing. And I would always ask him little opinions like, hey, what do you think about this handlebar height? What do you think about these pegs? Blah, blah, blah. And like kind of poke him a little bit. And I would use what he would say so we could fine tune that bike to his liking without him knowing it. And he graduated 6 months early from high school. And 3 days later was Christmas, and we surprised him with that Sportster. He had no clue it was his bike. And,
Very cool.
It was cool. It was the coolest thing I've ever done as a father, for sure. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So then after that, he grew up in the body shop and the paint shop with me. So he knows how to prep. He knows how to wet sand. So I said, all right, it's time to pick a color, figure out how you want to paint this thing. And so we got everything painted, put together. The bike turned out beautiful. And me and a bunch of the boys were going to go do a trip down to Arkansas to Eureka Springs. And we had about 10 guys. And I said, hey, why don't you come with us? You know, we got a huge cabin out in the woods. You can come hang out at the house and ride motorcycles all day. And he was stoked. He came with, and within 200 miles, he blew his motor up.
Oh my man!
Wow.
And that was the first time he left state lines on a motorcycle. So he was.
Wow.
It was a really crappy day. But we got him a U-Haul truck. We loaded his bike in the truck, and we gave him the choice. Hey, you can either go home or you can come to the cabin and you can hang out with Dad and all of his buddies for the weekend. And he chose to continue on the trip, and he fell in love with that mentality of just like the boys getting together and going riding and having fun. And even though, I mean, he was talking about going to rent a bike that weekend just so he could partake, you know. So yeah, he's hooked. After that, we found him a brand new motor for that Sportster. We got it swapped out, so that thing's fixed and on the road. But he's really tall, and he's, you know, a little too big for a Sportster. So he got to the point where he wanted to do some more traveling, and I had a pretty cool Milwaukee 8 Softail sitting here that was actually a personal bike, and I ended up selling it to him. He went out and took his own loan out. First time he ever took a loan out. No co-signer. Came home with a check and handed it to me, and now he owns 2 custom Harley.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I think we
Cool.
got him going the right path, or some people may say the wrong path, but for us, it's the right path. So,
So
I should mention this quick too, because after all that happened, he rode to Sturgis with us last year. We had a big group. We rode up
Excellent. Excellent.
there. So I ride up every year, but last year he committed. He wanted to ride up. And we rented another big ass house. And by the time the trip was over, the whole trip kind of disintegrated. My wife got sick. She flew home, or she rode home with someone else in a truck. Another buddy had to fly home. Another guy's his truck that he towed a trailer with as backup. That thing broke down and he was stranded. Anyways, at the end of this trip, it was like 12 days in Sturgis. It was me and my son. And I said, hey, man, I tell you what, if you want, we're going to go do a big trip out west. And he was like, oh, man, I don't know. I got to get back to work, blah, blah, blah. And I said, don't worry about it. We got you covered. And him and I took off. I was on my Power Plus Chieftain that I built last year. He's on his Softail. And we went out and did 5,000 miles together. And we were gone for a week. And the final day, we rode home and did our first 1K in a day as well. So
Wow.
Oh, nice. Nice.
it was that was all last year. It was like the best year ever. So
That's some kind of bonding experience. So he's got 2 custom Harleys. When are you converting him to the Indian brand?
definitely working on that. You know, he's been around the shop his whole life, and so he sees the problems that custom Harleys have, and he sees all the customers in and out of here, swapping motors out, fixing motors. This broke, and he knows how much I love my Indians and how they never give me problems, even though they're fully custom built bikes. They're reliable, and he's definitely talking about it. I think the weird thing for him is just figuring out the platform that he would want to be on, because he's 19 and he's like 6'4", but he's like 150 pounds, right? So he's actually, when we were in Sturgis, he went out of his way and he went down to the Indian demo truck, and he didn't tell me about this. And he came back at the end of the day and he's like, "Hey, I went and rode, I test rode a Sport Chief, and I test rode a Scout, and I test rode a Challenger." And I was like, "What?
Awesome.
You went and rode a bagger by yourself? Like, that's insane to me." And he was like, "It was so easy to ride." And I was like, "Yeah, man, like they're heavy under 3 miles an hour, but after that, it's just like, it's like riding a little bike, you know?"
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, he's trying to get his money right. I think he's focusing on paying his first loan off, and he just bought a car, and you know, he's talking about moving out and spreading his wings and all that. So it's expensive for a 19, 20-year-old kid to just like get a new Indian.
So Max would like to know, is he going to start out on a Thunderstroke or a Power Plus?
Oh boy.
I went there.
Here's the thing. Thank you for covering for me, because that was my next question. Never sell the Chieftain short either. On the Thunderstroke side, it's a good bike to get you here and there for now. And if he likes a Challenger, I mean, if that's his idea to go speed demon and all that stuff, then you've got a Challenger. And you have the experience of riding a bagger in between.
Yeah, he's not quite into the older style of, you know, the older looking motor and the swoopy fenders and all that. We have made some Chieftains really, really cool in the shop here by making them taller, different wheels, good suspension. I mean, we've hooked up a couple of Chieftains, but the Challenger is, I think that the main selling point for me, like, we'll probably hit on this tonight, but water cooled is the way, and it's just high revving, crazy torque, and water cooled is, to me, that's the answer. And so I think he, you know, maybe he would just follow my example and stick with Challengers because that's what Dad does rather than a Chieftain. But at the same time, he's young enough that he loves the Sport Chief. He absolutely loves it. And I know it would make a great bike for him, definitely, because we've built a few of those and they're fun. You know, they're really cool bikes. So
sure.
I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I think he's young enough that, you know, he's 19 still. So it seems weird that a 19-year-old would go get a Challenger. It's just a little bit too old guy for a 19-year-old, you know. Maybe a Sport Chief. We'll see what happens. So
nice.
I don't know, man. I've seen some of your Challengers, man. If I was like 19 years old, I'd be jumping all over them.
Yeah, well, we've figured out our own formula on it, and it's come a long way in 6 years, and it's completely dialed in, and it's bulletproof, and it's the best. And so I would hope that he would follow that, but I really want him to be his own man and make whatever he wants to make too, you know. So,
and don't forget the Springfield's in there too. There's a lot you can do with those.
Yeah, but the Springfield even goes more towards that classic old school vibe, and he's definitely not about that, you know. I love classic styling. I love that myself. I'm really big into the Cholo Vicla style Harley Davidsons. I love those bikes, and I've built a couple. I do have some hopes and dreams to be doing some Indians like that here, maybe in the near future.
Oh yes,
yeah, the new vintage.
Definitely would like to see those. Yeah. Anything that's Vicla, that'd be great.
Yeah, that new vintage would be ideal for me, just to make something really unique and different. And also, I'm all of us in the shop, we're very capable of anything. And the performance bagger thing, we've been on that for almost 10 years now. I mean, it's getting close to that. And we started with the side, obviously, and I love it. I'm not going to stop, but sometimes you do need to switch it up a little bit because it just gets to be the same routine thing. And so I could see getting into a Thunderstroke Chief, like the vintage model, or maybe a Springfield. I like the Springfield. I'm a big Road King guy as far as the Harley side goes. So the Springfield would be really cool. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that Clockworks has got a fairing for it, you can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. I think that the where we're at right now with aftermarket is it's never been bigger. And so the opportunities right now are through the roof good, and everyone else is starting to really pay attention with this new ownership change. And so I think you give it about a year and you're going to see even more players getting into this than what you've seen in the last 5 years. So,
well, let's talk about that because you've touched on it now. How do you feel about now that the big inclusion with the aftermarket and everything? I mean, it's opening doors everywhere.
It is. Yeah. It's for myself, it's very exciting because I'm not going to start counting Indians, but me personally, in 6 years, I've owned roughly 8 to 10, I would say. And every one of those I've custom built and I've either sold or I've kept. And I've never had a bike given to me. You know what I mean? Like Indian does not give me motorcycles. So I still have to go pay for a bike just like anybody else does. And what I do is I try to find one. Maybe the miles are a little higher, or maybe it's, I got to find them as cheap as possible. Because when I tear them down, I don't use anything from it. I use the forks and the motor and the chassis, and that's about it. So it's the name of the game for me is getting into it cheap and then putting a ton of money into the build. For 6 years, everything's been on my dime, right? And so if you don't have the money, you can wish and hope all that you want, but you got to figure out a way to make those things happen. Now that we're at the point that we're at, after 6 years of dedication to this platform, I am now finally meeting, like Mike Kennedy. We hung out in Daytona a bunch of times, had numerous conversations. I was with Ola, the head designer of Indian motorcycles, almost the whole rally during Daytona. I am aware of some of these new players coming in, and they're amazing people, very talented, very passionate. The racing that happened in Daytona was mind-blowing. There's a lot of really good things coming on that side. And I think that everybody, this separation of getting away from Polaris, I think the big thing is, I've heard some stats. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but it was something like Indian was like 10% of what Polaris was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how do you expect anything to keep growing and get better and have a better dealer network and, focus all your energy on 10% of your company? You can't. That's not where you're making the most money, right? That's not how business works. Now that they're doing their own thing, it's 100% focused. Mm-hmm. And I myself, getting wind of all this back in like October, and then going to the 125 party in January out in California, going to Daytona, I have had numerous conversations with the CEO, the VP, the head of marketing, everybody from the brand amp, which does the marketing for Indian, Ola, even Terry Vance himself, numerous times. And the morale it's just through the roof right now. Everyone's pumped. And so I think we're at a little bit of a weird point where the new owners from Carrollwood, who I've met as well, awesome guys. They're super interested in what the consumer has to say, what the small businesses have to say. They're listening to all of us. You're just not hearing it because that's not how it's supposed to be. everybody is on the same team and on the same page, and they're just amped up. So I think we got to give them a little bit of patience and give them 6 months to a year to really let them prove what they're trying to establish, because creating new parts and new models and starting a new business and figuring out whose place is what and what the marketing budget's going to be and all these things, it's going to take a little bit of time. But I've never felt the way I feel right now in the last 6 years about Indian motorcycles, you know, and for me, what kept me going on Indians was riding Indians and then creating parts and building Indians and meeting new people, you know, like-minded individuals and customers. That's what kept me going. But what's keeping me going is the possibilities that are coming to smaller businesses like mine, where they want to lean on people like us for our input, whether it's for a future model that they may want to bring, or whether they want some feedback on what we think they've been doing right and what we think they've been doing wrong, to where they can take some of that input and learn, and maybe even apply it where they see fit, you know?
Sure.
So
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Chris.
A lot of the dealers and also the ambassadors and also aftermarket people that came from the meetings, from the dealer meetings, man, they are just pumped up. You know, they're just like, it's a totally different Indian. And then Mike went on this like world tour in the United States, I guess you can say. You know, just going to dealerships before he went to Daytona, went to Texas, got a couple bikes, rode to Daytona. And then he's like, if you read some of the posts in on Facebook and that kind of stuff, where Mike was just on the streets shaking hands, you know, he was approachable. Yeah. It's weird that you can see a CEO going out there and making such a big impact so fast.
It's very, very powerful. It means so much to people like us. And, you know, when it's boots on the ground and it's shaking hands and hearing what the consumer wants, name a better situation to be in. You literally could never have a better situation. You know, Mike has been so gracious. Everywhere we go, where we see Mike, he's talking to somebody, right? And it could be another CEO, or it could be the owner of a business, or it could just be a Joe Schmo riding a motorcycle. And he is giving everybody the time of day and taking pictures with them and answering the questions. And that's the kind of belief that people like us want. We want to know that we can trust our brand and that the people running it at the top are, first off, riding these motorcycles, right? That's the most important part.
Absolutely.
And then second off, listening and traveling and going to the dealers. And, you know, everybody complains we don't have enough dealerships. There's only so many out there. But if we could even just focus on making the dealerships that we have that much better, you would see a boost in sales alone, just in that, you know? So it's cool. And we're stoked about it. I'm very fortunate to know all these people at this point and slowly kind of, not that we haven't signed a contract to work with Indian or anything like that, but they're leaning on even small dudes like me. And that means the world to me at this point. So it's cool.
There is a question, Chris.
Yeah, what was that?
Because it's pertaining to what you kind of topic you guys are on. Rumble and Growl wanted to know if did they sell the rights to Victory with Polaris selling Indian? Does anybody know that?
I wouldn't know that.
I don't think any of us would know that.
I know a lot of people still love the Victory brand, but I don't see it ever, because most of the engines, most of the designs are in Indian now. I don't think it's ever going to come back.
Oh, I don't think it's...
Well, no, it's not going to ever come back, but let's face it, your Challenger would have been a Victory if it had survived.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so much of that, it was a Victory. I mean, it was scheduled to be a Victory motorcycle before all that went down. So, I mean, you know, I wasn't a huge Victory fan. I was completely consumed in Harleys. But now that I'm into Indians, we get a ton of people that are into Victory. And I'm like, look, I don't know what to tell you guys, but I do know that the forks were almost the same. The motor was going to have the same power plus. The chassis is identical. So I love the platform, so I can get why they love their platform. But as far as I know, I don't think we're ever going to see it come back. So
No.
Yeah,
But
I don't think so either.
I will say this though. You noticed our friend Bob Cole from BC Custom put a short out, and he's painting Victory body parts, that real special blue that he has, and it's amazing. The people who have them will not abandon them for anything. They are so devoted to them. I mean, they just keep them going. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Moto Kyle is really into the racing, because I know you're a big fan of King of the Baggers and stuff like that. I guess Hayden was, going around the track, and then he thought something happened to his motorcycle, and nothing happened to it. And he could have won that darn race 2 in a row. I mean, when you have like an Indian brand that was like, you go to Daytona and you're paying so much for these billboards, you got signs everywhere. As everybody says, that Indian just went all out for Daytona. And then they win the King of the Baggers like they did on that weekend. It's just like, you can have a better week. You couldn't for the beginning of the year.
No,
I mean,
couldn't.
It's just crazy.
I mean, when I was talking about the hype a little bit, coming off of the 125 party, which, it was one of those things you had to be there to really know and to really feel it. But like the people that were there, it was an event that I don't know I'll ever experience anything like that again. Everyone was so pumped, and it was done so well. And like you said, all the ambassadors were there, and we were with all the ambassadors, and the morale was just through the roof. Well, then you head towards Daytona and all the new racing announcements. And about a week before Daytona, Vance and Hines Motorsport puts out a video with Terry Vance sitting in a chair in a dark room, talking like a godfather, and he
saw that video. It was great.
Right. And what did he say? He said, "We found some power," right? And they showed up to Daytona. And let me tell you, we've been to Daytona numerous times for races. My right-hand man in the shop here, Steve, he raced on Daytona with his Road Glide. I've been there in the pits helping him run his program. It's insane, the numbers that were happening in Daytona, like top speeds and lap times, without drafting at that. I was there on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I was in the garage with the team the whole time. And I remember Hayden coming back and running 184 mile an hour with nobody on the track with him. That's
wow.
Mind blowing. So
yeah,
for Terry to put out a video that says you better look out because we're coming for you, and then the results to happen the way they did. I mean, it's the ultimate kind of slap to the face, So it's going to be good because now Harley's going to be pushed to find more, and the Harley side will continue to grow, and then it'll be the same with Indian again. And we really do need that in the industry for all things to keep growing and get better and bigger and faster and stay exciting,
Well, whoever they got in doing promotions in the Harley, they actually did a pretty good job because they put a motorcycle that they didn't even announce in a motor show, and people started walking around the place, and then he said, "Oh my God, look at this motorcycle! It's a cafe, Harley Davidson."
Yeah.
So they kind of try to take as much they could away from all the news that Indian had on Daytona. But it didn't work.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that cafe bike until the final, I want to say it was the final Friday of Daytona, and we finally caught some wind on it, and we were talking about it in an Uber ride. And then of course my phone heard us. So then I started getting the notifications on my phone about it. And so, yeah, which that was a cool bike. It looks like it'll be cool. But hard to say that that's really what the consumer needs right now too. It's
sure.
I don't know. Who knows what the consumer needs? It's hard to say.
So
it
Kyle,
never ceases. Oh, I'm sorry, Les. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to say, Kyle, can we talk about some of your bikes, some of your builds? And I really want to know what was or what has been your favorite build so far.
Like I said, I've mostly been a Challenger guy. I've had, I think, 5 of them now. I have a Power Plus Chieftain that's fully custom built. I have a fully custom built FTR. I also had a Sport Chief that was fully custom built. I will always go back to the Power Plus because the rideability and the water cooling and the comfort is just, it's the best. You can't beat it. I would say the most memorable bike for myself is the first Challenger I ever built, which I started in 2020. And I came straight from an insanely cool Harley to a bone stock Indian. And I said, all right, how are we going to make this cool? What are we going to do? And definitely that's what started the whole thing. And that's why we're at the point we're at. So it's probably going to have to be Challenger for me. However, the FTR is still my favorite bike to ride. It's thrilling.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I'm secretly hoping and praying that something like that does come back at some point. Because the bike is just, it's an absolute monster. It's a rocket ship to ride. So
Sure. So
Okay,
you don't only do the custom body work, but you're actually doing performance mods to these bike, right?
yeah, everything. So, at Forever Rad, we focus on performance first. Functionality, comfort, and performance is really where we start. And we try to take focus on the visuals at the same time, if possible. But we do everything here except dyno tuning. So we do remote tuning for Lloyd's. We've been fortunate to be doing remote tuning for 3 years now with Lloyd's. But yeah, everything that we do is we kind of stick to the formula that we created on the Challenger, which is a very simple formula. We try and take a bagger street bike and we try to turn it into a race bike. That's really the whole goal that we're doing. You can only take a bike like that so far because you got to have a wiring harness. You can't just cut the wiring out of the fairing and remove the fairing and have a bike that's going to function. But, things have come so far in 6 years now that it's just getting better and better by the day. And we're always coming up with new styles and new designs and new products to where we can kind of fit the bill for anyone's taste or style at this point. So it's all from a function standpoint. Even what you're showing on the screen, the tan Challenger with the Baja LP6 light. Our LP6 kit, we started putting Bajas on Harleys back in 2018, and they're the brightest light on the planet. And as soon as we got an Indian, I knew I wanted to put one on mine, only because that's what I've been doing on Harleys, right? But the safety that it provides with nighttime riding, it's not only the safety, it's also the confidence. As you start getting older, your eyeballs get worse, and you live out in the country where I live, where there's trees and deer every single time you drive or you ride. We didn't create that for, a fad. It's not supposed to be a trend. People talk about, oh, I love the way it looks, or I hate the way it looks. Look, I don't really care. We're going to make it look as good as we can. But the reason we do it is for safety.
Sure.
It keeps you riding. It'll keep you riding longer days and into the night, and you don't have to worry about scanning the ditch quite the same. And you know what it's like at night time when you're riding in the woods.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And when you're hyper focused like that, your energy level drains instantly. So this is another way that helps promote riding because you feel safe and more confident. Now, something as simple as that, we've been selling it. We're going on 4 years now. We're about 3.5 years into that product. We're right at the 1,000 mark right now. We've sold 1,000 of those headlight kits.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
holy moly.
Well, that was going to be my next question is what do you think the most popular mod is, or what's the most popular thing that you sell? Maybe it's that headlight.
Yeah. So for Challengers, it's the LP6 headlight, number one, hands down. Number two, actually, I'm going to tell you, but I would actually like to hear what you guys might think is number two.
I would say
probably some additional lighting around the lowers, things like that.
Okay.
I would think cam and exhaust.
Okay. Chris?
I think it has to do something with like the barn door, what do we call it?
Barnstorm.
Yeah.
The dash, the T-bar
dash,
relocation.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
That kind of
Nope.
stuff.
The number 2 selling product, and this is quantity, not just numbers. It's amount sold. Is the 2-inch lift kit for your suspension.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
None of us got it.
So get this. So all the Harleys that we build, we make them really tall, and we do that for ground clearance. It took one time for me of taking a corner too fast and running out of talent and letting the bike drag on the ground, and it picked the rear tire up and the bike went sliding, and I watched it cartwheel down the street. And ever since that day, I started lifting my bikes 2 inches or higher, and it's the best thing you do to your bike. So,
wow.
I mean, even if you go ride whatever mountain road, the tail of the dragon, whatever you want to call it, we've all drug our exhaust pipe or our floorboard on the ground, right? It just happens.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
When that happens, that's what takes you down. That's how you crash your motorcycle 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
So not only are we,
I've lived it. Believe me.
So with the lift kit, we're not only providing ground clearance for safety, but it also handles that much better as well. The bike itself absolutely handles better when it's lifted. So that product itself we created back in early 2021. That tan bike that you see, and that was the first one to ever have that done in the entire world. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Kyle. We've already touched on the controversy between Thunderstroke and Power Plus. Let me ask you about the controversy between fixed fairing and batwing fairing, because I saw the batwing fairing you just did for that Country Star. It's a Power Plus, so the engine's the same, but which one do you prefer working on? Which one is easiest to work on?
Okay. Working on it, I would say they're identical. They're a little bit different on how you disassemble it, but it's the same skill level when it comes to that. I'm not a batwing fairing guy. I never have been.
Okay. Fair.
But when we got on the Power Plus Chieftain, I was fortunate enough to get one in February of last year before the public could purchase them. And that was because of the forge bike that we built. And I was a little leery, but I knew that we needed to do it because there's products we needed to create for that fairing, like our Baja headlights and different things. I fell in love with it real fast, and I really started to love how it looked. And then last year I got to ride mine probably about 8 or 9,000 miles, I would say. So I've experienced all the conditions on it. I find that it's a little more windy than the Challenger is. The Challenger definitely cuts through the wind a lot better. Any type of like handlebar wobble or anything like that, but you will get more buffeting on your helmet, depending on what size windshield you're running. And even with that, like when you raise and lower the windshield on it, it's still, I can never really find that sweet spot for the wind.
Okay.
I got used to it, but I would say that I'm going to probably still be sticking with Challenger. I think it's just been so tried and true for me at, you name it, I've done it. I've experienced it on the Challenger, right? So it's just, it never lets me down. It's always the best. So I think I'm going to keep leaning that way. But I would say that what I really, really want to see is I want to see the Power Plus move to some other models. That's what I want to see, or something similar.
Oh, Max
So
doesn't like
now
you
we're talking the demise of the Thunderstroke, which I've been predicting for decades. But I know this conversation, this show is making these guys. Whoops.
Yeah.
Anyway, these two very happy. Okay, you left me out, Kyle. That's all right. It's all good.
No. I love the styling of a Thunderstroke. I love that it looks vintage, it sounds great, and it's reliable. I'm completely spoiled with the Power Plus. It changed my entire mindset on riding motorcycles.
one of the big things for me, I just bought a Pursuit last summer, and I had been on batwing fairing style bikes since 2011, right? And everybody asked
Yeah,
me, are you going to like that fixed fairing? And for me, the wind management is so much better with that fixed fairing. But you hit it right on the head, Kyle. I do notice a lot of buffeting with my helmet, and I have to run, and especially at interstate speeds, I have to run the windshield all the way up to kind of counteract that a bit.
Yeah.
But no, the wind management is a lot better on that fixed fairing. But that being said, I thoroughly enjoyed all my batwing style fairing bikes as well. So I think they're both good, each in their own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell them he's got your old Batwing bike.
There you go. Other way.
Yeah. So, hey, I since he said that, I do want to clear one thing up, because Wheels Divided and William Blaze were beating me up about the cup holder comment. So just to clarify, the cup holder we put on Max's bike is my old one that I gave him because it would not fit my handlebars anymore. So I had a cup holder on my bike. That was just being funny because we put on Max's bike.
There are some questions, boys.
Yeah, go ahead. Go with
Yeah,
it.
let's go.
Wheels Divided. He said, Kyle, what's your opinion of taking an FTR and actually making it a true off-road adventure bike?
That's a great question. I think I fully support that. The FTR is so capable. It's so powerful. It's reliable. I'm not going to say it's the most comfy bike, but if you set it up with the proper seat and the right handlebar so that your positioning, your ergonomics is correct, I would see that bike doing awesome in an off-road type situation. They're already really tall. You can throw knobby tires on the wheels. Very simple. The biggest thing for that is when you're traveling is always a comfortable seating and bar position and good wind protection. Mm-hmm. And those are the two things that the FTR is lacking. Those are the only two things that it's lacking. Because they want you to kind of lay down on the bike. It definitely has a more of a sport bike kind of feel. So, but yeah, I think it's, and really when you compare that in the Harley side with the Pan America, it's the same thing. For a few years there, we had hooligan racing was nothing but FTRs and Pan Americas. And we're both neck and neck every single race. Neither one of them could beat each other. They were very capable motorcycles.
Okay, there's another question.
What's that?
So you must know Moto Cal and Moto Sal, right?
I do. Yep, pretty well.
Okay. Moto Sal says, Kyle, is there a model or something you would hope Indian would come out with?
Other than that
Hope
top secret one you can't talk about.
Yeah, I know some things. Hope is not really the word that I would use. Really, for a guy like me who focuses on aftermarket parts, what's the next idea? What's the next product that we can come out with? How can we make these bikes better? They're pretty smooth right now with where we're at, but we're on year 6 of Challenger, and I think there's going to be some changes in the future on the Challenger, and I'm excited about that. I don't know. I've seen and heard about the trike thing happening.
Yes.
And which I'm not an old guy and I'm not into trikes, but I think that's the best thing that Indian could do right now, honestly, because, how about this, right? I sell parts every single day. That's part of my job. And I don't know how old my average consumer is, but I do know they're not 20 to 25 years old, right? Like we're definitely somewhere between that 30 to 70 mark. Okay. And motorcycles as a whole, it doesn't matter the brand, motorcycles as a whole, we're struggling to get young people on motorcycles. And I wouldn't focus on that myself, but like you can only lead the horse to water to make it drink so much, right? It's either going to drink or it's not. So I I would rather see the trike thing get big and explode so that people can stay on motorcycles if they're not feeling confident on two wheels anymore. Also, I will say that I've traveled a lot. I've worked rallies. I've been everywhere. I've seen it all. I've seen a huge shift with younger people getting on trikes, and I don't know why they're doing that. I think it's maybe because they're a little bit easier to maintain. You have to think a little bit less, maybe a little for them. I don't really know the answer to that, but I think there's, it's been a long time that Harley's had a trike out, and I think to keep battling against that, I think that the trike mentality is probably a smart choice for Indian. So
Yeah, what
I think they
Indian,
would do that.
I think I agree 100%. There's a Indian fanboy. He agrees with you, Kyle, and he said one of the things that will make something even better is to open it up where the handlebars meet. Where you can get you can't get any good what do you call it, handlebars. I mean, you got to
like a T-bar setup,
a T-bar
right?
system. Yeah,
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
Yeah,
There's no room for it. Yeah,
it's been a struggle. I can talk on that subject a little bit because it's very, very important. When you guessed that would be one of our top selling products. The company that created that dash kit, Barnstorm, we had the opportunity to purchase that company from him. And it wasn't the right time for me. It wasn't the right move. I really needed to continue to focus on Forever Rad. So we passed on it. And the torch is carried over. Carey Hart ended up purchasing it, and he is still having them manufactured and still selling them. And we are set up as a dealer with him, so we can still sell those dashes to people. But where we kind of shine above, I would say, is we've been installing those dashes for 6 years, and I've sold hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of those dashes. And so I'm aware of how tall the risers need to be, how tall the handlebars need to be, what fits here, what doesn't fit there. We've even helped make some manufacturing changes on those dashes to open up more options for the consumer. We worked with Barnstorm on that real closely to help there. And, I think in 2024, we sold 75% of their inventory for them. So we're very well known for getting people dialed in with the right height so they're comfortable. Now, that's never going to go away because how many people can go buy a $30,000 bike and then dump another 10 or 20 grand into it, right? That's tough to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen here is when they do open that area up and you can finally bolt on a T-bar setup, right? That's great for the consumer who wants to be able to do that and not spend all that extra money, because the dash kit and the T-bar setups, they are expensive. But what's happening is as these things are changing, we're going to get more people spending $10,000 on a 2020 Challenger, and they're going to be the first people to jump in line and go buy one of those dashes, right?
Yeah.
So it's never going to slow down, and we're going to be here to support it. We also have one of our own products kind of in the works to help that solution. It's just not something I can talk about yet. It's not ready. We're still doing some fitments and stuff like that. But we want to basically be able to answer that question and have a solution in at least 2 or 3 different levels, to where if you want to spend $3,000, cool. If you want to spend $2,000, cool. If you want to spend $1,000, cool. We'll have you covered. That's kind of what my goal is moving forward. So
Cool.
One other thing, when you were talking about the trikes earlier, all right?
Yeah.
And then when Mike Kennedy announced that he wasn't really looking for a mid-range or a small bike starter and that kind of stuff, I think you're exactly right. I think Indian is doing the right thing because their riders are getting older and they're going to be looking at these trikes, so it's additional sales that prolong the rider, and the young kids are getting the nice little rocket bikes, croc rockets and all that kind of stuff, the speed bikes, right? And then when they get a little bit older, you think they're going to buy a small Indian, or they're going to get a cruiser? So
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's not about the size. It's about the money. It's about what they cost.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Indian did a killer job by getting the Scout lineup dialed in for $10,000, right? And although the Scout is their number one selling platform, I get almost no parts sales from Scouts because I don't offer a ton for them, because most people that are only spending 10 grand on a bike are not willing to spend another 10 grand in parts for their Scout, right? Like, it's not a financially smart decision. And I also think Indian did a, smash hit job. They crushed it on the Scout model to where the bike really doesn't need much to be a great bike. It's pretty dialed in. So, I'm kind of forecasting that, like, look at like where children are at these days. Like, you're seeing 18-year-olds that don't have a driver's license and don't want to get a driver's license.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
right. And they just want to use Uber the rest of their life. And God forbid, if they can afford that, cool. But like, that's the demographic we're dealing with right now. And if you can't get them to drive a car to the grocery store, how are you going to get them on two wheels? Right. Like, that's a tough, it's a tough thing to do. So
I
Tough
don't
sell.
understand because them people, because I'll tell you the truth. I mean, when they have Uber, they get to work, it's costing them $30 a day sometimes. It's just crazy. 'Cause
That's cheap too.
Well, yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah, that's
And
cheap Uber.
they're working for nothing. I mean, really, they are. And I just don't understand why they're so scared of getting driver's license and motorcycle license. And it's just strange to me. Maybe one day some of these states will adopt where you just can get a driver's license and not a car driver's license, that kind of stuff. Maybe it's just a motorcycle license.
Okay, so we're getting into sociological issues here.
Yeah.
Let's stick with motorcycles.
fair.
Hey,
Another question.
Ram Biker 2025 asks, a Cholo Springfield would be a hella interesting. He ain't that old. Would you go with the Chrome or the Dark Horse model?
I think, to me, Cholo bikes are always chromed out. And so I'm more into like chrome and engraving and details. We're really known for our details. So I also think a Cholo bike has to lay flat on the ground just because. So I would have my own ideas and styling on how to do it. And I will do it eventually. It's coming. It's just a matter of finding the right time to spend the money and invest time and money in the project.
Yeah.
Are you if you're talking about a full Cholo Vicala, the etched front tubes, the etched exhaust pipes, anywhere where there's chrome that's etched. Man,
So,
that is so cool, but that ain't cheap. Shit.
Yeah. So I want you to do me a favor, Max, because this week we're going to be dropping a new YouTube video on our channel, the Forever Rad YouTube channel. And we did a video feature on a Cholo bike that we built about 6 or 7 years ago. And it's the first time we've ever done a video on a bike that style. And it was very important. It was very important for me to do that because I want people to know that we can build anything at Forever Rad. Right now, what we're focused on is the platform that we've been on for 6 years. We cannot give up on that for people. But I'm gonna show you a picture on my phone real quick. But this is the bike that I'm talking about.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's the style.
And that's
Nice.
fully.
Woo! How big is that damn wheel? Is that 24, 25, or 30?
No, believe it or not, it's only a 21.
Oh wow.
Holy shit!
But there's some different things going on that bike with different rake and trail on the front end, and so it's all about the stance and the proportions of a bike.
Sure.
So it makes the wheel look a little bit bigger. So
I get your videos. I will be looking forward to that.
yeah, it's a cool video. You'll like it. It's not our normal thing. We'll have it up this week probably sometime. So
Yeah, go
You
to
know,
I got the
what's
in the
up?
chat. I got his Forever Rad YouTube address there, guys. So go and subscribe to his channel, and it's right there in the chat. So you can watch his video being released this weekend.
Well, we talked about a couple of really popular accessorial items: the LP6 headlight, 2-inch lift kit, that kind of thing. What's the most popular mod that people are coming to you and asking for on their Indian bikes?
You mean just coming to my shop or just
Yeah.
buying parts on the website?
Well, no, coming to your shop and saying, hey, I want some work done on my bike. What's the most popular modification you're making to these bikes? Is it performance related? Is it aesthetics? Is it both? What's the most?
It's usually kind of all of that lumped into one. But I would say the average job, I have one coming tomorrow from Northern Illinois, and he's coming with a Challenger, and we're doing an LP6 kit, a T-bar setup, and then we're doing our hinge covers, and we're doing our front fender kit, and we're doing our saddlebag mounting kit. And so it's all, my focus has been to get people purchasing our Forever Rad products, because that's really where our passion has lied, with creating these products that no one else has done before, trying to get those out there to show people, hey, we didn't just make these to make money. We made these products to make your bike so much better. And it's working, that's growing daily. The word performance gets used a little bit loosely, because around here, we put cams in all the bikes that we do. Every one of them gets cams. Whether it's Indian Stage 2 cams or Lloyd's cams, all the numbers that they produce. Every bike that you see us post usually has cams. We just don't tell you that it has cams, because we have so many other things to focus on with different products. So yeah, the most common thing we're doing is we're just setting them up with our formula, which is tall, aggressive, good brakes, a rear brake upgrade, comfy T-bars, the right seat. That's, and something that they can be comfortable on and smash miles on, whether they're just going to do highway riding or if they're going to ride the mountains and ride super fast and aggressive. That's pretty much what we're really trying to push. But we're not limited to any one of those things. We can do something where we're just going to do a lift kit for someone. They're in and they're out in a day. Or, we just did a bike for one of our friends, Jess Rips, where we brought it to Daytona. She got a brand new Challenger from Music City down in Nashville. And she went up there, picked it up, rode it 250 miles to my shop, left it here. And we, from November till February, transformed the entire motorcycle, changed every aspect of it, and brought it down to Daytona for her. And bike's got 1,000 miles on it now and haven't turned a wrench. And she's absolutely loving it. So
wow. Anything
from milds all the way to
wild.
Yeah. It's going to be whatever pays the bills, unless you ask me to put LEDs on your bike, and then you're not going to.
Yeah.
I will say this. I know you said that you lift lift thing 2 inches, because that does increase the cornering distance and everything. And for tall people like Chris and medium people like me and Les, that might not make a big difference. But one of my other riding buddies, he's Wes, not Les, Wes. He liked the Indian. He liked the Indian because he could stand flat-footed, where he has not been able to on any other bike. A Harley, a Kawasaki, it didn't matter. He was on tippy toes for all of them. So on that lift kit, it doesn't sound like it's for everybody. And I'm sure you've done lowering kits for people too.
On the Indian side, no, we will not lower an Indian.
Okay, cool.
Not on a Challenger. The Challenger was not meant to be lowered.
Okay.
Can you do it? Yes, but you can only go so far, because you run into the shock is going to hit the coolant tank underneath the seat.
Right.
The Indian Challenger, and what sold me on it 6 years ago, was how it feels and performs, right? And so at no point do I want to change how good it does that. That to me, that's the selling point of the Power Plus platform. So
okay.
When it comes to lowering them, we're pretty much out on that. When it comes to bigger wheels on them, there's no reason to go to a big wheel. It doesn't make it handle any better. It makes it handle different. A lot of the times you have issues with your ABS and your speedometer when you go to a bigger wheel on a Challenger. it's not really my cup of tea, and that's okay. There's other shops that are into that kind of stuff for people.
So,
yeah, 21 inch is a real popular mod for a lot of people. But if it messes it up that bad, who would want it? But maybe on the Thunderstrokes, I have seen lowering kits on Thunderstrokes. So
yeah. Thunderstrokes don't have a coolant tank underneath the seat, so that becomes a bigger issue there. So
I got a question for you. So if you were interested in getting a 2-inch, what do you got to do to the front? Anything? Or
to lift the bike?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we have two options on the front. We can do just a simple 2-inch fork extension, which replaces the stock fork cap, and you have stock suspension inside of your fork, and all you're doing is pushing your fork down 2 inches to raise the bike.
Okay.
The other option is our cartridge kit, which is a complete replacement cartridge where we're putting basically a 30 millimeter valve cartridge in the front end, and it gives you complete adjustability on preload, compression, and rebound. So you can fine tune that to any size human being, any type of riding you want to do. It's virtually sport bike suspension in the front of your forks. And then we're making it taller at the same.
There's a Christmas present.
Wait, what? Can you repeat?
You won't be listening.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because I'm 6'3", and I find the Challenger kind of when I'm at stop signs and stuff like that, man, I get so many cramps because right here where my hip is, and it's just like my feet are so tall.
Good. I don't need to buy anything for you because you don't have a Challenger.
Well, I have a Pursuit's the same thing.
Same front end. Sorry, Connie.
But I rode the new Harleys, man. It was even worse.
Oh, it was horrible for you.
Yeah, it was, man. I had like a hip freaking Charlie horse. It was just killing me.
You actually almost dropped it.
Yeah, I almost dropped
it. That's just old age, Chris. That don't have anything to do with
it's not old. It's not. Yeah, go ahead.
The reason we've expanded in all the suspension stuff is the front forks on a Challenger are really good, but there is not one spring that is the correct spring for every human being, right? So I'm 160 pounds and the next dude might be 300 pounds. Well, there's 3 to 4 different spring rates that you can choose from in between those weights, right?
Yeah.
And so what's happening on Challengers is the OEM fork service interval is 15,000 miles. They want you to change the fork fluid, right? And that's a pain in the butt. Well, the reason for it is when you hit 15,000 miles on your Power Plus, you're going to feel the brake drive. The front brake dive is tremendous. I mean, that thing will sink when you're pulling up to a stoplight. And what's happening is that fluid is breaking down sooner because it's overcompensating for the incorrect spring that's inside of it. That's exactly what's going on. So when we swap out to a cartridge, we don't have to deal with that anymore. The fluid inside of a cartridge is nothing more than a lubrication just to keep the moving parts moving, but it only takes about half of a quart of fluid inside of one of the fork legs versus an entire quart. So, yeah. And also something to bring up is when you lift your bike that tall, I'm only 5'8". Inseam is it's like a 30-inch inseam. And so if I can do it, anybody else my size can do it too. It just takes a little bit getting used to, Yeah,
this is Rumble and Growl says he's got one of your kits. He loves it. It's the best thing in the world. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, 250 pounds. He says it's amazing. So that's what I need to do. So I always complain about it. So I've always wondered about it because I've been looking at him at lift kits. And now I got a better understanding. I'm glad you've been on the podcast.
I'll call you, Kyle. Around Christmas time.
Hey, Connie, we have great Black Friday deals. So
okay, cool.
Hey, Drop Bear Moto says the same thing. He's 6'3", and a 2-inch lift is a must. Have several bikes with the Challenger with the lift fits like a glove. Think you might have found something right up your alley, dude.
So Kyle, how long does it take to put a lift kit on a bike like Chris's the Pursuit?
Sure. So it's basically OEM procedure because we're just swapping out stock components. of course, nobody has done it as many times as we haven't at our shop in the world. We've just done it that many times. I would say front and rear combined, we're probably averaging about 6 hours, probably 4 to 6 hours. It does take a couple of specialty tools, but it's nothing that can't be found. We have all the links for them on our website. A lot of guys are not comfortable working on their forks. So what they do is they take the forks out of the bike, take it to their Indian dealership, and have the dealership swap the fork caps out for them because it's OEM procedure.
Sure.
So, and then the rear is actually, it's funny to say, the rear is very simple, but there's a lot of crap that has to kind of get moved out of the way. So we prefer to just, I know this sounds like a lot, but we just take the swing arm off the bike. And as soon as the swing arm is off, as soon as the swing arm is off the bike, it takes 20 minutes to swap the parts, and then you put the swing arm back on.
All right. So Chris, there's your project. When we do part of 66, we can divert down to Kyle's shop, and we can film him putting that on your bike. So Connie, get your purse out.
Really?
And we'll be there.
Hey, have you guys seen Mike Ferralio, one of the Indian ambassadors? You guys seen him around on Instagram or anything? So Mike is a great friend of ours and kind of an ambassador for Forever Rad as well. We're going to be doing a video in April where I'm hoping he's riding out here from Pennsylvania on his Challenger. But what we're going to do is film, we're going to do a 112 kit with cams, and we're going to do that at the shop. And we're going to turn it around.
Oh, cool.
So we'll be doing that pretty soon here too. So
that's awesome. Yeah. We plan on stopping there when we go to the Route 66 trip. We're going to plan hopefully hanging out with you for a few hours if you're around. I think it's
we'd love to have you.
So it's going to be like part 2, folks. Part 2. And
And Chris is getting a suspension put on.
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
don't know about that. But
hey, if we pre-plan it, anything's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get that schedule done. Just kidding. But hey, in this chat, man, there's a lot of people in here that talk about how many parts they have on their motorcycle of yours.
There is somebody with a question about the LP6.
LP6, yeah. What's
yeah, it's Body Snatcher. He had it way up here on the top.
Okay.
And I think he wanted to know how difficult it was to put the.
I don't think it's really that. I mean, I watched his video. He's got his own custom bracket. You just take the front off, the fairing, and you take the couple bolts out, and you take that lamp out, and you put his bracket in. I think you put the LP6 on first, right? Before you.
Yeah, it's a little bit more involved than that because we run our wiring harness down to the wiring
harness. Yeah.
Right. And we really prefer you remove the gas tank to do that, and it's a very, very simple procedure. The one thing that stops people from buying it is the headlight, the dimensions of the headlight. It's much deeper, so it does require you to trim that headlight bezel a little bit. And the first thing that we did to help in that is we have a stencil that lays right on top of your bezel. It locks into place. You mark it with the Sharpie, you trim it out, and then it pops right back in, and you're good to go. So
Hey, Kyle, let me ask you a question, and this is not so much legalities as it is maybe personal preference and where you live.
Sure.
I know the LP6 is a fantastic light, but it's awful bright, and some states don't like that too much. Can you do the same thing with a Custom Dynamics brand light? Because it's basically the same light, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's really good question. I would say out of those 1,000 LP6 kits that we've sold, I've probably had 2 or 3 people reach out and tell me that they got pulled over for it. Okay. And in those 2 or 3 people, which by the way, that to me, that's winning, right? That's really good odds.
Yes.
But those couple of people, they were in the middle of a cornfield, pitch dark, and came head on with the state trooper where you can't avoid this insane light headed your way. And they got pulled over. And nobody's ever told me they got a ticket for it. But yes, it is a concern. So if you don't want to be blinding traffic, we have solutions for you there too. We co-branded with Custom Dynamics to create the Shark Demon kit for all models, baggers and Sport Chief. And we've known them a long time. We've used their products forever. So they actually put the ball in our court and they said, hey, you make the harness, you make the bracket, we'll supply the lights so you can keep them in stock in your shop. And you take the horns and make it happen. And so we're the only company in the world that has that product, which the Shark Demon is a great light. It's DOT approved, and the beam is a lot more focused in kind of a circle pattern. And it's a little bit more affordable than the LP6 Pro. So there's kind of some pros and cons to both there. And then we also have the Baja DOT light as well, which is, we're working through some things with it. It's been good for us, but there was a little bit of manufacturing issues with Baja, and we almost got it dialed in to where we'll be pushing those again too. So
cool.
Yeah. So all the options for the best lighting. I mean, you name the brands, we've removed it and put a Baja light on or a Shark Demon light on. So
yeah, if you like that bug-eyed 6-lens LED, that's the ticket. There's a lot. There's, those 3 brands are the most popular brands. So yeah, it's wonderful to hear that you can adapt to either or. Go ahead, Chris.
Body Sancher actually has a Chieftain. So how different is it to put on with that one?
So we have Challenger and Pursuit, and then we have Power Plus Chieftain, which is his own fitment. And then we have Thunderstroke Chieftain, which is going to be 2019 all the way to 2026.
He's got a Power Plus.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have the Power Plus Chieftain kit, and it's a different bracket. And it's essentially the same kit, but it's a different mounting bracket because the fairing's totally different. So
yeah, gotcha. You still take the gas tank off, put the
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah,
because it's the same frame pretty much.
You still have to trim
too? Yeah, there's still trimming involved on the headlight bezel. Okay. Basically, what we're doing is I can't make a square plus put a circle into it, but we're basically putting a square into a circle, and so you have to open up some space for that to happen. And again, it's not because it's trendy and all the guys are doing it. It's because it's worth every penny. The rideability is insane with the Baja light. So
that's awesome. I mean, that's the other thing. That's the other upgrade I like. I mean, I'm not really a performance kind of person. I think the Challengers, I got a 112, and I think it's just powerful enough. I mean, I know one day I'll probably get a different exhaust. I don't know if I'll do a 2 to the 1.
Weak. If you got a 112, use it. If you're not going to use it, why buy it?
Because it's got enough already, man. India makes great bikes.
Yeah, honestly,
get that 2-in-1. Yeah. Get that 2-in-1 exhaust, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing. We have one bike that we just had in here with 112 kit with Lloyd's 550R cams, which is kind of a special thing there. It has a S&S 2-in-1 shorty on it, no catalytic converter. And then this bike was tuned personally by Lloyd himself up in Minneapolis. I have the dyno sheet on that bike, and it put down 150 horsepower. And let me tell you, it was the fastest Challenger I've ever ridden. And I mean, I've ridden all the combos.
Wow.
And that thing, I mean, it doesn't take much to be able to crank out some serious power, but still have the reliability at the same time. So
that was awesome. Yeah, I mean, Max is right. I mean, these bikes are, they're made to soup up, man. It's just like I was kind of the same way, I had a Pontiac GTO when I was young, and I souped that sucker up. It had 454 6-pack on it, and it would raise the freaking front end up. I would race all the time. And then now I look at bikes. I went through a kind of a stereo phase too, because I had the big bass and all this kind of stuff. And then now I'm in motorcycles.
That's a different show. That's Davison Audio, dude. That's a different show.
No, not in a motorcycle. I'm talking about in a car, in a truck. Well, and then now it's like I look at that motorcycle out there, and every day I look at it and say, man, this is a dream. I just got to live it.
I can't even get you to change spark plugs in my Jeep. I mean,
Because
come on.
I'm changing something on my bike. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Kyle, I grew up my whole life working on stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I started with a mini bike and I ripped the governor out. How can I make this thing go 50 miles an hour instead of 20? And it just, graduated into bikes. I've had 180, 190 horsepower sport bikes. So now I'm on the pursuit and I'm thinking, how can I get more horsepower out of this thing? Right. So for
Yeah.
me, how can I squeeze more out, where Chris is more the aesthetic guy. He wants it to look good.
Sure. Yeah.
I want that thing to rip when I crank on it. So
Yeah,
a
definitely.
couple, we're like this when it comes to, how we
I don't
want
know about
that.
that. I mean, I like
Okay,
those bikes,
okay.
too.
And I'm still stuck on my poor old little Thunderstroke, but here's the thing. on my late lamented, dearly departed 2019 Roadmaster Elite, out of the box, I put the 116 kit in it. And that kit, with everything in it, would lift the front tire off the ground. I mean, I love the performance in that bike. I mean, and I love the immediate grunt of the Thunderstroke. That's what I love about it. You twist that throttle, you're gone.
No, I had rock.
Okay,
Sorry.
No, but you know what? Guess what? I had the original Power Plus in the 2019. I could still hear that stereo, 600 watts at 85 miles an hour. And yeah, I broke the C note on it a lot of times. So I don't want to hear that shit from you.
Oh my gosh.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
I call bullshit because I can prove it.
Oh, okay. We got you. We're gonna have a race. We're gonna go to Edgewater. We're gonna race these bikes.
Oh, great. I'll take you off the line.
Hey, I'm in. Let's go.
Okay. I'll take you off the line. You'll catch me, but I'll take you off the
He'll
line.
kill us all.
Oh my God.
One person asked, "Do you do tunes there?" You have to, because you have you do the cams and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
So we
don't
do
have
remote tuning.
yeah. Gotcha. That was one of the
Lloyd's.
questions there.
Somebody wanted to know what the horsepower of the King of the Baggers was putting out on here.
Oh my
Indian
God.
fanboy.
They have rules and regulations, but just know they're capable of 200 horsepower.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Ooh.
yep.
Yep.
I mean, I can only say so much, and I'm not a part of the race team or anything, but the champ.
Hey, Kyle, Kyle, back me up on this. Guys, you've got to realize, too, that you've got baggers out there that are only 10 miles and a couple of horsepowers off the super bikes. I mean, it's amazing what they've done with these bikes, both Harley and Indian. I mean, they're only tenths, you know.
Yeah, this year Daytona, I think the fastest bagger was only 1 second behind the fastest sport bike. So
Yep.
that was the stats. So it's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I remember Daytona a couple of years ago. Daytona is a fast track and it's a big horsepower track for top speed. Whatever tires that Indian was on, the tires were disintegrating at top speed. Like they literally couldn't keep them on the track. They were falling apart. And I mean, that's proof alone. So, I mean, they're capable. They're definitely capable, right?
Yep.
So
Well, I think Indian is in good hands with the new CEO. I think Indian's in good hands with your group, Kyle. I mean, if you go to his website, folks, see all the stuff he offers. Holy cow, it's a menu. We could not.
well, and it's not just me, it's aftermarket as a whole, right?
Yep.
There's a select few people out there that have committed their lives to aftermarket Indian, just like we have. And we try and support those companies to the fullest. You've had a couple of them on your podcast already.
Sure.
We're trying to all rise together and all be a part of this community. And,
Sure.
this is the time where it's most important for all of us to stick together and remember why we're all doing this for the same reasons,
Yeah, it's
Well-
yeah, good. What were you gonna say, Les?
I was say definitely going to go check out the website and maybe schedule some things that will correlate with our trip to St. Louis here at the end of May, beginning of June timeframe.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really am. I've been looking forward to this. I mean, I've been a big fan of Kyle and Forever Rad since the beginning of my bike. I mean, it's almost been 3.5 years, maybe almost 4 now. And when I was looking at Indians, him, Riding Fish just joined the show, and I was watching videos of his stuff. I was looking at his stuff. I mean, I was looking at it, it's like, well, I don't know. I was at that time I had a Chief, but I was really, really, really wanting a Challenger. So I was watching all his stuff, and then like 6 months I traded that sucker for a Challenger, and it was because of Riding Fish and you guys. So I'm glad you came on the podcast, and it's been great. We're not leaving yet, but I just want to thank you for coming on. And
absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, like imagine the people I know in the Indian community after 6 years of all this. So I love that there's people that are watching and commenting. The people that have been commenting, they're all customers of mine who eventually turned into trust us with their hard-earned money, and they know it's going to the right spot and it's going for the right cause. And that's what it's all about, man. It's community. And even for those guys that ride those old school slow thunderstrokes like Max.
See, I knew it. See,
hey,
I'm good.
We have options for Max too. You know, we can do an LP6 light on your bike. We can tune your bike. I've put cams in thunderstrokes plenty of times. Let's go.
Just give me the 131 so I can shut these two up. That's all I want.
You know what, Max? If you had a 131, the only thing those are capable of doing is burning the back tire off. The power on a thunderstroke, when you start going big bore and cams on those things, especially up to 131, they come on, like you said, it has grunt on the bottom end, right? They come on so strong that by the time that thing's ready to hook up, you're already hitting rev limiter and it's time to shift again. And that was my experience with my Sport Chief. It was like such a rowdy bike that I had to relearn how to ride it, because with a big bore and cams and a pipe and a tune and a carbon body and killer suspension, that bike was a monster, and it would just burn the back tire off of it, and it was time to shift, and you almost couldn't even hook up on it. I mean, it was very impressive. So I know I'm there for you. I hear you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds perfect. Sounds perfect.
No,
Sounds
I
like
mean,
a lot of fun.
After 6 years, I have over 100,000 miles on Power Plus, right? And so to me, that's like, I'm not old man Pat. I'm not stacking 50K a year. You know, I ride as much as I can, but 100,000 miles speaks volumes. Like, I know that bike like the back of my hand. I know it like my child, and I now know what I love and really what I need out of a motorcycle. So, you know, it's kind of like you don't get a car that doesn't have air conditioning these days, right? You got to have air conditioning.
Looks like Rumble says, will Forever Rad be open Tuesday, May 26th? That's a good question.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we're open pretty much all the time unless we're out of town. So if people do want to stop by, definitely hit us up on social media or send an email. Chris, I was telling you the other day, we're in St. Louis area. We're just south of St. Louis. We have beautiful riding out here, great people, twisty roads, lots of trees. It's a great place to be. And we love it when people come see us, especially when they're traveling through. We get a lot of people that make our shop their destination, and they put it on their to-do list. And we always give people the time of day when they want to come see it. And things are always so much different in the shop. You know, we have, I'm counting 16 motorcycles, and every one of them is custom built from the ground up. From the
Yep. All right, you
got that in on just an Instagram post or whatever. So
gotcha. Yeah, you broke up a little bit there. You might want to repeat that a little bit. For some reason, it just it hasn't happened much at all. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's good. I was saying, people love coming by. The shop is much different in person. We have so many cool parts and cool things to look at. And I was pointing that direction, saying, I'm looking at motorcycles right over there. Every one of them is custom built from the ground up. And we're not talking cams in a pipe or a 2-inch lift kit. I'm talking balls to the walls, like as far as you can go with a motorcycle. So we have everything super cool because we like making people happy and putting smiles on their faces. So,
Yep. It's like your internet might be going out on you.
It's overheating.
Yeah.
It's overheating.
Yeah.
You're freezing up a little bit. I think everybody heard that time what you said.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it clears up here in a second. While we're doing that, folks, if you're brand new to this channel, as you guys know, we want to bring Indian up also with everybody that comes on this podcast. We have a bunch of influencers. We have a bunch of aftermarket people come in here all the time. We love having them as guests, and they might pop in here and there as a surprise. So you never know on Tuesday night who you're going to get. So please like and subscribe and share this podcast. The bigger we get, the bigger everybody else gets also. And that's the great thing about this community. And I'm glad you're part of it, Kyle. We have a bunch of people we met. Everybody on this bar down here. That's not everybody. Okay, on the other screen you got tons of other logos, and it's everybody we met, and everybody is friendly. Everybody cares about Indian and its future, and everybody just wants to do the best. And I've never seen anybody talk bad about anybody else, other than let's get this company up and going. Kyle, are you still there? It's like you might be frozen.
Kyle?
Yeah, he might have to log back in and come back in. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. The only people who talk bad about anybody is I'm talking bad about you. Other than that, it's cool.
But that's every week, Max. Come on.
I have to look people to, hold on.
You back?
I have to take my old man pills. Yeah, I have to take my old man pills. That's what makes the show interesting, Les.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
The interest, the conflict.
Yeah, I was talking to Kyle last night, and I said that's what the drama is. That's the only reason I have you on here. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, thank you. Okay. Yeah.
I'm kidding. All right.
Was that a pill blue for later?
It's the red pill.
No.
Connie.
I don't need those, Connie.
Yeah, right.
Good God.
Sure.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Kyle, did you make it back in here yet?
Yeah, it looks like he's going outside to get better internet access.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to get some internet signal. There we go. Okay.
There we go. We can see you now.
We're outside.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, it just
Sorry,
started.
I'm in a big metal building out here in the country. So
Yeah, it's probably everybody in the whole world using the internet at the same time right now out there. I mean, I think you guys are an hour behind, so it's like 8:45. So everybody's probably watching Netflix. They should be watching this podcast. What they should be doing.
That's right.
By the way, Kyle, what's the temperature there?
today was 30 and tomorrow is going to be 75.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of like us.
Yeah, it's 23 here, and what's tomorrow going to be, Les? 60s?
I think so.
Yeah, Kyle switched over to Skynet, so watch out.
Yeah, I got to sit outside. I have better internet out here. So,
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. We talked about a lot of things. We're gonna have to have you on again, maybe in the fall. Talk about what happened throughout the year and also your future. Because we didn't even touch hardly anything. We didn't touch the Harley part of it. What got you in doing here? What was your first freaking mod? What was your first part you ever made? What's your favorite part that you ever made?
yeah, I mean, we could talk for hours. So you gotta pencil all that in and hit the keynotes and ask the right questions.
Yeah. But the thing is that we have like a conversation here. So if it comes out, it comes out. And that's what people love about this show is that we have conversations. We talk about things, and you get the most of the talking because you'll get on a subject and you'll talk and talk and talk. The guest does, not just you. And then we'll try to stop you and say, hold on a second, I got a question for you. But it's more of a conversation. And I think that's what they get to know you. There's one person on here tonight that said, hey, listen, he loves your passion. He wanted to watch the YouTube channel, YouTube interview just to see what kind of person you was. And I think a lot of people seen who you are tonight. So, yeah. And that's what's good.
Yeah, you don't want to be too quick to judge a book by its cover and try to give everybody a fair chance, And like I said, it's all about riding motorcycles. So if if everybody has the same common interest, then we should have a better chance of being able to get along with each other. You know, I mean, even if you ride a Thunderstroke, Max is my new homie, you know?
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
Yeah, I got your
my
back,
Lord.
man. I mean, what else do we have in this world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Besides bourbon.
Yep.
Yep. We always have the bourbon, my friend. Always have the bourbon.
Actually, you're gonna have to come out here and go to the the distillery. It's actually a good ride out there, and
Yes.
it's a great place. I mean, you get to go
Yes,
in there,
it is.
do a tour of it and everything else. That was freaking awesome, actually. And it's a good
Yeah,
great
Yeah,
race.
But you know what the bad thing is about this?
You guys are
The
all
bad thing about distillery tours on motorcycles is you have to ride afterwards.
Well,
True.
well, spend the night.
We don't promote drinking and riding.
We
so.
do not.
Nope.
We do
Absolutely
not.
not.
What were you gonna say, Kyle?
Oh, I was going to say, I come through, you guys are like Ohio area, right?
Yeah, Kentucky,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Indiana, right there in the middle.
Kentucky and Ohio, yeah. We generally don't spend a lot of time in Ohio unless we're heading out east. We kind of just pass through it.
Mhm.
But Kentucky, yeah, we love riding in Kentucky and Tennessee and all those areas. You know, we just like to hit the mountains. That's kind of our happy place to be. So,
Gotcha.
Well, Will's the Body did a super chat. As you guys know, there is super chat. You also can become a member if you want to. And if you do become a member on YouTube, you also be a member on our website, but you have to register there, and I'll have to transfer you over. We'll have more details over that in a few weeks. We have a lot of plans happening. I can't really disclose anything. I'm waiting for certain things to come in place. I know a lot of people have an idea, but I can tell you right now, what they're guessing is not what they think it is. So it's going to be great for Indian motorcycles. It's going to be great for anybody that is a fan of Indian, all the stuff that we're releasing. You do want to go to our website, check it out, see the little tidbits, I guess you can say the little crumbs of things that are going to be happening. We do have to, if everything goes well, we will have to upgrade our servers. We will have to spend some new upgrade part money. Hate to say it, but yeah,
so all I can say, folks, is like, share, subscribe,
and become a member and help us out.
and become a member.
Yeah, because if everything goes as planned, our servers are going to have to go from a small server to a mid-sized server, and if it goes even more than that, it's going to be 3 servers in the United States and maybe 1 in another country. So we have a lot. We have a business plan. Some of us know it and some of them don't. But the future is bring up Kyle, bring up Ride and Fish, bring everybody else, and we go up at the same time. And it's going to be a great thing. And I'm glad we're on the Indian side. Yeah, TNA,
BC Customs, Dean Speed,
Ride Culture,
Lawless Garage, everybody.
Yeah.
BC just got on.
Yeah, BC just got on. I'm wearing his hat tonight because I told him I would. But I gotta get. You got any apparel and stuff like that for Forever Rad? I mean,
yeah, definitely. Website? We got shirts. We have shirts and hoodies. We like to do tank tops in the summertime if you're into that too. So, Yep.
Well, I know you probably got things to do. You got builds to make, and I know you're probably. Well, it's almost been 2 hours, so that's been a great podcast. I really appreciate you being on here. Like and subscribe, folks. Also go to his channel. I mean, I think I still got it in my pace. Let me see this on my clipboard. That should be his channel right there. Go check out his website, foreverrad.com. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have people like this on the team. And I think Indian, with people like him, is going to be winning year after year. And that's what we need, folks. We need people like Kyle and all these other people on the bottom down here to be brothers and sisters and keep moving up. All right.
Hey, Kyle, it's been an honor, my friend. Thank you.
Hey, yeah. Thank you, too, man. I mean, I really appreciate your guys' support, and it means the world. And, you know, we didn't go as deep as I thought we would. I could go so much deeper with, you know, my whole family runs this business together. You know, my whole livelihood is on this property right now. And I'm staring at the paint shop, and paint is being sprayed as we're talking. And
Oh, wow.
You know, the house is right back here behind me. And I mean, we live and breathe everything motorcycles. And so it's important that people realize that we're really real people at the end of the day. We're not this huge corporation that's just trying to make money. You know, it's all passion and meeting customers, and customers turning into friends, turning into family. That's really what all this is about. So it's important that you guys know that about who we are and what we do. And we just stay really busy. So I don't have a lot of time to just sit on the internet all day long and talk about how cool we are. Like, we got bikes to build. We got customers to make happen, you know?
Yeah. And we were talking just like that last night about how busy you are. And a lot of people don't realize it. You know, when you got passion, and when I was talking to you last night, it's like you're only like sleep, 5 hours, 6 hours a day, and it's up and running. And you're trying to get that bike out for the next customer, and the next bike comes in, and you're trying to also design. You're trying to get these parts, and you were talking about how your team is so good. You got people that are really good at certain things, and that's what makes your team so fabulous. Do you want to talk about your team a little bit there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fine oiled machine at this point. You know, we have Steve, we have Matt, we got Springle, that's our painter. We have both of my kids that help out. You know, my wife is doing shipping and bookkeeping and all the stuff that I don't know how to do. And our whole life is this business. It's all poured into motorcycles. So right now it's tax season, so everyone's spending the tax money that they don't have yet. We're having an insane influx of sales right now with tax season. I can't even keep up. It's overwhelming. It's getting the parts into the people's hands, and not only the ability, but actually having the parts here and having them ready to go and keeping things in inventory. And it's been a hell of a learning curve for us, but I feel like it's just the beginning, and we got a long way to go and a lot of exciting things to come up with. So it's been super cool.
At least you got, the country, Mexico, where you can go like as fast as you can, every once a month.
Yeah. I mean, yes,
I have no problem talking about it. We just can't post that stuff on the internet as all.
Why everybody else does on that abandoned road in Mexico with professional riders. Do not attempt this at home.
Well, when you guys are out here in May, early June, I can take you out and hit some twisties, and we'll show you what it's about. We'll play a game of keep up and see what you're made out of.
I gotta get my lift kit first. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'll be calling you, Kyle, at Christmas.
Oh my God.
It's all great, man. Anything else? I mean, this is your time right now. So, anything else you got?
Oh, I'm cool. I mean, I can sit here and talk all night. I just don't want my internet to crash on you guys.
Yeah, I know. So, it's much better now. So like I said, I've said it a couple times. I'm glad you was on the podcast. Great talking to you. I think you did a great job here supporting your company. As soon as you went in, your internet locked up.
Yeah.
So
Kyle, we definitely have to have you back because this is great.
Yeah. If you would stay on here, Kyle, I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. The screen's gonna go black, but just stay on here for a second, and then hey, Body Snatcher says, I am in. He's in on something. We just got to figure out what it is. He's a great friend of ours. All right, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. This is the song that Connie likes, so I got to do this all the time. Yep. Peace, everybody. Have a good night. Like I said, and subscribe. And share.
Namaste.
Share.
Namaste.
Yep.
Peace.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yep. Stay safe.
Namaste.
Everybody have a good night. We'll see you next Tuesday, March 24th. We'll be talking to Roger Sparks. And we'll be talking about 108 to 116 and see what the progress is. Everybody have a good night. We'll definitely have Kyle on here again, and we'll see you. Are you planning on coming to Chattanooga, for the year end, like for Indian, Kyle?
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels? Probably make that happen. Yeah, I could probably make that happen. I haven't been down there for it before, but probably about time. So.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So not committed yet, but we'll see if we can get him down here because we had a blast there last year. It was great. All right, everybody have a good night.